What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode here at Trembles. Today, we're not on the trails today, so what we're going to do today is we're going to actually install an onboard compressor from TireFlate, one of our new partners, and then we're going to show you a couple compressor differences and why we chose to go onboard. But we also have a mounting system for it. We have a hose kit with it, and we're just going to show you some of the basic ways to make sure you mount it right, wire it right correctly, and then just kind of get into it and dive in and what it looks like in a Bronco. This application kind of fits every single Bronco. The mount that we got from DV8 fits the 2-door, 4-door Raptor. It goes in the back base. So we'll show you pretty much everything. We'll unbox a couple things, and then we'll go with the install, show you how it works and why you should go with the onboard versus, you know, having the external one. So they each have pros and cons, but we're gonna dive right in. Casey's in the back. We're gonna go talk to him. He's gonna break down what he has, the tools that you need, and we're gonna do some unboxings. Let's go. All right, Casey, what are we gonna do first?
All right, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna unbox our onboard air compressor from TireFlate.
Sick.
And check it out. So it's actually a pretty good kit. I've already looked at it once. So it comes with a wiring harness with actually pretty quality wires, to be honest with you. Better than other companies. You know, it's all stranded, copper coated. It's pretty set up. And then this is the main power kit. Then we got next is the harness for the switches. And TireFlate's actually pretty cool. They kind of send you a setup so you can like if you have air lockers or anything like that, they kind of have a harness built in. Since we're doing a basic air install, just an on and off switch, we're gonna have to mitigate through the harness, and we're actually probably gonna cut a bunch of it out and not use it because it's unnecessary, but we'll show you how to get through that. Same thing, filters, hardware. They actually send you a switch too, which is pretty cool because some companies don't do that. Instructions.
Now, obviously, on the Bronco, you can just wire it to your switch panel up top,
Yeah, you're
right?
going to wire it to your switch panel, too. We're kind of going to do something like that. We're going to do it a little different, but we'll show you later on. And then, you know, nice, heavy cardboard. And then down here at the bottom, we got the dual compressor kit itself. So it's actually pretty cool. It's actually really beefy. And it's all set up. You know, it already comes, you know, wire connectors and stuff and built-in fan. You know, it's pretty robust. It's got a mounting plate on the back. And yeah, it looks pretty good. And
this is pretty similar to all the other kits that are out there. Honestly, it's like the ARB one that you see in blue or the green ones or whatever. This is just TireFlate's brand, and then obviously they just have better customer support. You can talk to the guys there. They're a small company that's up and coming, and it's just dope. Plus, it's red and black. You can't, you know, red and black always wins. That's just the way it is. So again, the harness is there. We got the kit there. We're also going to show you what the DV8 box looks like, and then, you know, you guys have, if you haven't gone back, go look at the last video we did where we tested a dual compressor and a single, but they are expanding and making it look better too. Mine doesn't have that little cool stamp. So the TireFlate dual compressor, if you do not want to have an onboard one, they also carry the external ones, and then their hose kit is awesome. But what we're gonna do now,
real quick before we go, it's actually the little things too, like that kind of make things a lot better. So, you know, they could brand their
cool.
gauges, they brand their connectors. You know, everything's pretty quality. Instead of putting like hose clamps, they put actual clamps, German style clamps, and then they send you a nice bag to hold everything in there, which is actually pretty cool. You know, it's a lot better than some places.
Yeah. You
know, where you got to buy all that separate.
And also, honestly, his price point is a lot better too.
Yeah.
From when you look at all the other sites, it's pretty competitive out there now with EasyFlate, all the other brands that are out there. TireFlate, since he's gone to the market and he's worked with me, I've been using his kit for about 8 months, which is this one right here. He actually has the best pricing on that one. So yeah, we'll at the end of the video also give you a coupon code so you guys can go shop for any of this stuff except for that DV8 mount. But everything else, you'll be able to get it through TireFlate because he did partner up with us. So we want to make sure we give you guys back on the discount.
So here's the DV8 Bronco rear storage mount. This works for 2 doors, 4 doors, Bronco Raptors, pretty much everything. And it's an onboard storage. Removes your rear storage compartment, makes it a little deeper, and kind of gives you a space to mount dual air compressor.
So he's going to open it up. Let's see how he boxes this stuff. Dude, come on, see? I should have given you the Milwaukee cutter, dog. I told you. Look at you, dude.
Damn.
What the hell? You're bringing your fucking Harbor Freight cutter out here to the...
Hey, man, it was free.
It was one of those...
It was one of the free ones, man.
Damn, dude.
So here's the DV8 mount. Check it out. I mean,
they boxed it okay. They have the foam insert just like all the other brands do. Dude. They put fucking, what was that disease from back in the 2000s?
Asbestos?
No, not that one. The one where they were putting it in the mailboxes?
I don't know. Oh,
anthrax.
Anthrax?
Comes with anthrax.
So, yeah, this is gonna make a mess, so
yeah,
be aware.
Well, we're gonna rip it up right here.
They could have just used foam and Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
like
this packaging does kind of suck.
this fucking packaging sucks. Let's just go out and say it.
Yeah, they're just bags on bags.
I don't even know.
Dude, get your blade, cut that up, dude.
Yeah, but it's gonna make a mess.
Hold on, he's gonna
All right,
unbox that. We're gonna give him a break. All right, so we just fast forwarded because we got rid of that box. That box is a mess. The way they package it, I don't know if all of them are gonna come like that, but ours sucked. But anyways, once it's all wrapped up, it does come in a cool felt thing to protect it from chipping the paint. So that's pretty nice. But the box looks just like that. And on the Bronco, this goes right behind. All the way in the back, right? This is the bed.
Yeah, underneath, in front of the jack. So there's two compartments in the Bronco. One's the jack area, and the other one's kind of like a storage compartment. But it comes with, it comes with the new heat shield, I'm assuming, for the exhaust system.
Some sort of template to cut, probably.
Probably, yeah, to make. And then here's another masking. I think this is the top plate, so it looks like it bolts up in two pieces. Probably to help with the install.
Yeah. Oh, it might be the lid.
Yeah. Well, it's not like a lid per
Oh,
se,
it's
but
kind of
it's
like a plate, yeah.
just the top plate.
Yeah, so that's the top plate.
Hopefully
hold
we
this
don't
whole
have to
thing in.
drop. Hopefully we could just install this from the top, which will make things like 100 times easier.
Super easier, yeah.
But we'll see how it goes.
But yeah, that's what the actual compartment looks like. So the compressor will go in there. You can see all the mounting holes. It's a pretty nice piece. I mean, fitment is to be determined here. We'll be checking it as we go. But it does have a nice little rubber piece here. You cut so you can get your wire through it. You know, everything from here looks correct. But once we take apart his Bronco there and put it in there, we'll see how fitment is. Let's go.
Let's talk about the back of my Bronco. So I got a Milwaukee pack out setup and kind of cooler. Kind of sits down. A lot of people ask me about this. It's kind of pretty nice. I built a small platform so you could still have access to the rear trunk area. This is the box we're talking about that we're gonna replace.
Yep.
And but this is kind of for people asking about Milwaukee packouts. This system is pretty cool. You mount this plate down, and then you kind of have everything's pretty
sturdy.
Pretty sturdy. And I also have a, you know, I'm still a Yeti guy, so I have a Yeti with mounts and everything. And I mean, man, we use it all the time on all the trails. I never have an issue with it coming loose. So yeah, we're gonna pull all this out real quick. And it's pretty much fairly simple with the packout system. You just unlock it and it comes out and everything removes. We'll get all that done and then show you what's up next. So I remove my platform, and then you have the weather mat that's on here in the back of the Bronco, so we got to take that out. And then that kind of gets you to this area right here, which is just your regular normal carpet setup. And this is actually the access to the bottom, and we're gonna pull this whole top part out to kind of get everybody to kind of get down to the bottom. So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna pull out this we're gonna take out 4 bolts on each corner. They're 10 millimeter. You're just gonna use a regular impact wrench. I already got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them out. So and then this whole platform will lift out.
So if you have a Bronco, this is the way you're going to do it. Obviously, if this install is going on like a Jeep or a Toyota, anything else you're installing it, you're going to kind of follow your own steps. This is just showing you how we're going to install the DV8 mounting bracket and then also doing the compressor on a Bronco. And most of the installs in the Bronco will be similar. Even if you have the 2-door, you're going to have to remove the rubber and then remove the bolts. I think it's probably the same amount of bolts, honestly, even though it's a shorter.
Yeah, still, if you got 4 anchors, it's the anchors that hold everything down. There's no actual bolts on this.
Yeah.
So it's 2 bolts per anchor.
I think the 2-door only has two anchors to bolt onto.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it'll be a little bit different for the 2-door, but honestly the box and the inside, everything's the same, because even DV8 on their website says that 2-door 4-door is it's all specific for it. So but yeah, once you remove that, you're gonna pull this panel off, and then it's
comes
gonna
out like this,
and it's gonna expose the actual box down there.
Just be careful, because the sides of the Bronco scratch are really easy because it's junk.
Yep. And then here's the box. So KC obviously has some recovery gear and whatnot, but this looks like a pretty easy removal too. It's 4 bolts here. They look like 10s also. So we're going to take that off and see what the fitment looks like on the DV8. All right, so KC's already removing it. So there is 4 bolts. They are 10s. And I can tell you just by looking at it already, the surface on the actual box from DV8 gives you way more just space in general. So even if you wanted to get this box and not use it for a compressor, you could actually swap it out and then have more space to, you know, put goods in and whatnot. But he is taking off the box now. We'll see what it looks like.
Here it is.
And there it is. So it just exposes it to the rear. This also has heat shield on it because the exhaust does run relatively close to it. Not super, super tight.
It's a lot closer on the regular Broncos than it is on the Bronco Raptor.
Yeah.
Because I think on the regular Broncos, there's muffler sits right here.
Yeah, where the Raptor sits a little low.
Sits way further.
Yeah, sits back more, yeah.
So
we're going to see if there's any rubbing issues right when we put it in. And if there is, we'll let you know. Again, this is a Bronco Raptor, but most of the applications will be the same. So let's go grab it. All right, team. So that's what the stock one looks like. Obviously, it's just a flimsy plastic piece. And then the DV8 one's actually, it's steel. So it's a little bit nicer. It is bulkier and heavier. The mounting brackets and everything. So we're just going to test fit it. We're going to grab it, put it in there. And then afterwards, we're actually going to mount the compressor on there. So that way it's a lot easier to mount and whatnot when it's outside. And then we'll show you what the fitment looks like. Let's go.
All right, so check it out. We figured out you don't have to touch that fuel line. You don't even have to mess with it. You got to just kind of finagle this in here. So this thing's going to float. That's why they send you the top mounting bracket and 2 separate parts. So to get it in, you kind of have to drop it all the way in and then move it back to get you kind of in the area. And then you'll mount that top plate bolted to this, and then it'll bolt to the stock mounting point.
So yeah, unlike the stock one where it's all one piece and it just mounts up, that's actually the top piece of this part. So
yeah, it's 2 places.
This is going to mount onto that, that's going to mount onto the top. So that's what holds everything together.
And then we're gonna have to, it comes with the heat shield and everything. So we'll have to mount the heat shield, and then we'll double check the orientation of the brackets for the air compressor and everything.
All right, so heat shield's coming up next.
All right, so real quick, we got the heat shield here. We know the box fits in there, so we're gonna check everything. We're not gonna install this heat shield just yet because we're gonna be moving the box around and we might be sliding it around. We don't want to mess it up. So this will be right before the final install. We still have to check orientation for the air compressor because this is a universal mount. This is a universal mount, and we don't know if those 2 universes talk to each other.
So the 2 things that we were worried about the most was this fitting back there, and then this fitting in here. So that's what we're gonna do next. Some just check fitment. This is all live too. We've never even checked it. We just kind of went with what we saw online. So we're gonna see if it fits nice and tight. The cool thing is this is all ready and plated to mount. So.
Yeah, this already comes pre-mounted. Comes with mounting screws. It actually comes harnessed up, which I mentioned earlier, but it's actually pretty sweet. I mean, it's not too tough of an install.
And it's got some weight on it. It's not like it's a cheap compressor or anything like that.
This thing's got some weight. This box has some weight. It's actually pretty, I mean, it's pretty robust. So we're going to slide this in without squashing my fingers.
All right, here we go.
And then get it in there. So
all right, that looks good. There. That looks good.
So,
and then down. So there it is.
So,
as you can see, the mounting position is basically perfect. So you have to play with it a little bit, but everything is lining up correctly.
With some washers and some bolts, and we should be good, man.
Yeah, and they do give you all of that hardware in one of these boxes for the DV8. So I mean, so far this DV8 box has been pretty stout, pretty easy, pretty I mean, it's just built correct so far. So yeah, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get the rest of the stuff ready, make sure it all fits, and then we're gonna take you through some wiring. We already pre-wired some of it, but we want to make sure we explain it to you guys, just because this process would have taken so much longer, and we want to make sure that we can kind of break it down how Mr. Casey did it, and then we'll see how it connects to the stock harness. Again, this application is for the Bronco, but it's basically the same thing if you were installing it, like say in a Jeep, a Toyota, or anything. Obviously, power, negative, all of that stuff still pertains to this, but the compressor does come with extra wires, so you can do your lockers and things like that. But Casey, let's go, let's break it down.
All right, so we got the harness right here for the air compressor kit, and I actually had to modify mine a bit because we were installing all the way in the back of the truck. They give you about maybe 6 feet of actual wire harness, and this is the main power setup. We'll show you how it goes. So we have the Bronco Raptor, or actually the Bronco in general. Bronco platform is pretty sweet. They give you 2 extra auxiliary setups for to add powered functions, and then I have this custom built kind of like a power accessory distribution block setup that I mounted. So I have actually all 6 of my what are they called, the upfitter switches. Yeah, upfitter switches mounted to this circuit terminal distribution block, and then I have a power a ground strap, and then I have an auxiliary fuse box. So
because he already did a lot of the work to that, his install is going to be a lot easier than, let's say, if you take a stock Bronco and did it. Not too much, but the wires from the Bronco are a lot thinner, so you got to be careful too when you do something that takes out this much power. You got to make sure you have the correct wires, because you can even see, like,
well, actually here, this is actually pretty cool. So we're actually not using any of this.
Okay,
we're going to use a factory harness that they gave us, and the only difference is the switch thing. Okay. So we're gonna use a switch out in the back that I have installed, which is just a 12-volt.
Oh, you wired it to the actual switch that they gave you, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna wire it to the switch that they gave us. So this is just kind of stuff that I have already for later future mods. But yeah, so I cut the this is what they send you. They send you 2 maxi 40 amp fuses. I set it up for the Bronco with a 90-degree turn so I can mount everything. And then just a standard ground switch. And then this is the main harness connector that goes to the air compressor setup. So yeah, shouldn't be too bad. We do have to run the wiring underneath the truck, which is actually it's simple. It's just a little time consuming.
It just depends on how clean you want to be. If you want to be raggedy and just kind of have them hanging in there,
that'll take probably an hour, but you know, not me. So yeah, everything's gonna be covered and heat shrinked and looking good, and then this harness will be bundled up once we get it all installed. Yeah,
so when you do wiring, make sure you do it correct the first time, because then you always have to go back and fix it anyways. And honestly, I suck at it. Usually Thunder Vic does it for me, but now KC's the new wiring guy. If you guys want to get stuff wired.
No. So actually, to be honest with you, so the factory harness, like say if you're going to do an engine compartment install, on all the Broncos, there's multiple companies that make the brackets.
Bracket, yeah.
And even on the Jeep guys, there's a lot of companies that make the brackets. I know there's a few companies that also mount it to the underneath the passenger seat, which is like a big thing. The wiring that they send you is pretty quality wiring, and it comes with a nice big connector.
That should be enough, right?
It should be enough. And if you do have to, one quick wiring tip is like, if say you have to extend wiring, always go with the same size or bigger. Don't ever shrink down the wiring that they give you from the factory. And then just kind of, you know, heat shrink is always good. Crimp terminals. And say you do have to cut, like I modified my harness. Theoretically, I like to solder everything and do it super nice, but I forgot my solder gun and we don't have one here. So the next best thing is heat shrink and crimp terminals. Nice. And then these will go get sheathed over and everything will be good. So that's just we'll move on to the next thing.
Okay, let's go.
All right, so check it out. So we're extending the harness that it comes with. So these are heat shrink connectors. They're crimped on. We're using 10 gauge wiring just like the factory, and then we got everything sheathed up, heat shrinked out, and we're kind of extending the shit out of it. And yeah, just show you how that goes. All right, everybody, so we're right here underneath the bottom of my Bronco, and see, this is the harness that we started from the front of the vehicle, and we're just gonna run it like around the frame rail, kind of where all the factory harnesses still at. I got the zip ties down there to show you where I ran them, but we're just tucking it above the factory harness. And then let me spin around right here. We kind of went, this is the front body mount, these are my steps, and we went inside the inner body mount, up the fender, inner fender well, and then into the engine compartment. And yeah, it's not too bad. It's just dirty down here. This is the bottom of my Bronco, kind of dirty, a little bit beat to crap, but here it is. All right, cool, we'll show you what's next.
All right, team, so KC's finishing up the wire here. So we already ran it underneath the truck. He has the negative and the positive. We're just running it, he's getting it all connected here, so that way when we run it underneath, all we have to do is put it in through the box, and he's gonna filter it through this hole, and then plug in right into the thing, to the actual compressor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mount the compressor onto it. The hardware does come with the compressor, so which is pretty nice because it's already threaded underneath. So all you have to do is get the hardware, you know, it comes with it just like that. And it looks like there's 10s also. We're gonna mount it in there, that way once it's mounted, we just drop it back in and we're pretty much done with that piece. Then the rest is just wiring to the button, and then once the switch is connected and wired and powered, we should be able to run the compressor and see how it does. So yeah, I'm gonna get to it, and we'll show you what the next step afterwards. All right, team, so I just finished mounting the compressor into the actual bracket, and one thing you got to make sure before you actually put it in here is you put the filters on it if it is a new unit, because once you put it in and bolt it on, you can't get the filters in there. So we went ahead and mounted that in there and took care of that. And then I also put the heat shield on it. It's actually measured quite good, and it's cut out right where all the bolts are and everything, so you don't have to worry about anything there. But now what we're gonna do is, as soon as Mr. KC finishes this wire he's been working on for cool ass minute over here, we're gonna go ahead and it'll go in through here, and then it'll actually plug into its plug right there. So once it's in there, then we'll put this top mount, and that's what's actually gonna hold it onto the truck. And then after that, all we have to wire is the actual switch, and we should be good. But so far so good. Everything's mounting and kind of going too smooth. It's a little scary. It's a little scary. You always know anytime you do a work on anything and you get parts, usually they don't fit right away, but this one is. So that's it. We're gonna keep going. All
right, so back again, we got the switch mounted. I've already actually had this switch panel made. So we have the air compressor mount right here, and then it's running from yeah, I got power all the way to the front there, but I'm using the factory wiring that Ford provides. They have one wire in here, then you have to hook up an extra wire under the glove box, and then that runs all the way to the front. So that's already there. Like I said earlier, this is all mounted. I'm just getting ready to hook up the 12-volt switch. So actually, let's take a look at that over real quick. This is the kit that TireFlate sends you. This is the harness. They actually have extra connectors for if you're running air valves for air lockers. But we're gonna defeat all that, and we're gonna just pull the pin connector out for the actual 12-volt power on and power off. If you look at the schematic that TireFlate gives you, it actually helps out and you're able to read through it. I've already done that. So it's right here. They provide everything so you can see, or just take my word for it and cut this fucking end off and hook it up to power and ground, and hope for the best, baby. Well, I'll let you know what happens.
All right, let's go.
Hold on, let's test it first, bro.
Oh, no, let's go. Let's see, dude. Moment of truth.
Shot the fitting.
Yeah. Hey.
Hell yeah, dude.
We have air, dude. Everything worked out. So boom. First step down. Put the fitting in there, and we'll wrap it up soon. Go.
All right, everybody. So we're wrapping it up, and just for a quick heads up, the air compressor did not come with the main fitting for air output, probably because some people have different hoses, or there's different kind of fittings. There's automotive style. There's all kinds of different ones. So just to give you a heads up, I actually bought beforehand 1/4-inch NPT male end. Got to make sure it's a male end, and it's gonna hook up right here on the top right there.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna make sure you use thread tape. Did I roll it the right way on? I don't know, but who cares? Okay, because there's always people like that. And then yeah, if I can figure it out, boom, I'm gonna tighten it up, check for leaks, and then we'll let you know. These things, they have a cutoff switch already built in. They're set probably like around 80 or 90 psi. So here's actually I have a hose kit from them, and this is an airflater and deflator. So just to make sure, we're gonna turn it on. Close it out. And yeah, about 94 psi it's set at. So this thing will run at 94 psi. Once it pressurizes, it automatically shuts off. It's going. So you just set up your pressure when you hook up your air hoses, and you should be fine.
Yeah, so there it is. That's pretty much what the system looks like. Obviously, you can always extend this and put it somewhere, so if you don't want it sticking out like that. But again, this is just for the Bronco setup. This is something that we're just like first testing out, but we'll probably make some changes to it, and then if you have your own setup, it'll be a little bit different. But yeah, the kit itself works well. Probably a good idea if you add like maybe a leader hose, so you could have your gauge out here. Yeah. So maybe make like a little 1-footer or 2-footer hose for this. Yeah. It'll probably be real nice. Yeah. Sounds good. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just clean up this area, put everything back together, and then we'll close you guys out. All right, last but not least, everybody. So one last thing is just to show you kind of the front, because we talked about it in the beginning. So this is the final setup. These are actually the factory fuses that came with the kit, and I wired them in, ran them through the fender well. You seen that earlier. And then they actually just hook up right here to the spare fitting that Ford provides you. And my ground is the same thing, just hooked up to the regular ground, and that's pretty much it. It wasn't very difficult. I mean, the hardest part was navigating through that harness to pull the 12-volt switch, but I mean, if you watch this video, you could just see what connector to cut, and then all you have to do is send 12 volts to it, and you're good to go. Rule of thumb for any kind of wiring, if you have to extend the wiring like I did, you use the exact same size or bigger. Exactly. And try to use the same quality of wire. So like if the factory wire comes multi-stranded, so try to get, you know, 50 strand and up, or something pliable, something better, something comparable. Awesome. Cool. So before I close out the video, just want to show you guys a couple differences. Obviously this is the external compressor if you do not want to have a mounted one. It also does come with benefits if you do not go with the onboard one. This pumps at 10.16 CFM, and then this one's 6.16 CFM. So the pumping power, obviously even the unit's bigger, so this is going to have a little bit more power. So if you have the bigger tire, maybe this is the way you want to go. This is just nice. Again, this box is from DV8, and then the hoses fit right there. So the whole system itself is pretty sick, even if you just wanted this box from DV8. I mean, it's really nice. I don't know if another company makes one or not, but that's the one we found and we use because it just kind of fit the compressor and the hoses perfect. But there it is. They're both from TireFlate. You can check them out. I'll have all the details on our description below, and then we also get a discount from them. So if you want to get a compressor, hoses, he even sells parts a la carte. So if something does break, or something gets messed up, you can actually buy those too. The coupon code is here. So if you guys have any questions, hit me up. There's another video where we compare this and a single one also in my video, so you can go check that out. But shout out to George for coming on out. We installed it here, and you can see this is the Bronco setup. This is what basically all Broncos will look like, two-door, four-door. We did this one on a Raptor, so it also fits. But that's what it looks like. That's what it is. And yeah, but we're just gonna clean up and then we'll close out the video. Alrighty team, so we just wrapped up that install. We did the DV8 box, we did the dual compressor onboard setup, and then we showed you what the other compressor looks like and some of the things that pros and cons of it. But honestly, having an onboard setup, it just makes it cleaner, easier to put away, because you don't have to, you know, bring it out. It's just already there. You just turn on the switch, plug in the hoses, and you're ready to go. He does sell the 4 hose kit. A lot of people do ask me when I have it out, what did they do? The best thing I think about any 4 hose kit setup, there's a lot of companies out there with them, they filter all 4 tires and then they make sure that they're even, so it's pretty nice. But again, shout out to TireFlate. He does have the best pricing, and honestly, the kits just work. I've been using them for a long time. But that's it, man. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, all that good stuff. The boys are here. We're actually gonna go record another podcast, so make sure you go check out the Gatekeepers podcast on Spotify. And we're gonna keep going. We have Sand Hollow next, and it's gonna be a party. Let's go.